Hello. Again, I'm a mess. Sorry, wild west of Ireland, very windy. The video I made yesterday about the tarot and your life and my life and how the tarot has really helped me. A lot of you you've really enjoyed it, and you've asked me to do a series on the tarot, and I think I would like to do that too, because it's a long time since I've involved myself in the tarot. And I have an idea for a tarot series. It's basically the tarot in your life. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Rider-Waite deck. I have one here I found this in a pound shop. All the cards are intact for €1. And I'm going to randomly select a card every day if I can, but it'll do all 78 cards in time, no matter how long it takes. And then talk about that card in terms of my use and my belief in the psyche. But because of the nature of the tarot, I can't really do that for the first one, so I have to begin with the Fool. Because the Fool is the most important card in the tarot, because it is the ego, the unconscious, waiting to bloom. It is purity itself. So as I said, I'm using the tarot, the classic Rider-Waite deck. So many people are familiar with it. I'm going to start with the Fool. Now, all of the cards from this point on will be randomly selected. Now let's look at this card. It shows a young, naive man, almost a dandy-like. He's stepping off a cliff with a knapsack on a pole and a flower in his hand, and behind him is a white sun. Now, because this card in this particular deck was created by an esoteric society, the white sun actually represents Lucifer, the purity of light, the purity of being. It's not really the sun. It's the pure light of Lucifer, absolute purity. Now, I know some of you will go mad when you hear that, but I'm giving you the esoteric meaning behind the people who made this card. You can call it the sun. I call it the sun, but that's what they originally, I believe, they intended this for. The sun is at his back, the light is at his back, therefore it's shining his way. He's yet to encounter any hardships, but he will when he steps off this cliff. Now, the Fool is not a fool. Now, remember that. Think of the Fool as an acorn that one day will become a mighty oak. You see? That's what the Fool is. The Fool is a blank canvas waiting to be painted in terms of your consciousness, your psychic development, your poles of cognitive functioning, your experiences in your life. They haven't happened yet. So this is a child waiting to be born. Now, this is a fool in the sense that he's like a harlequin or a jester or a joker or a clown. He's the only one who can mock the emperor, because the emperor sees himself within the clown, within the fool. And the emperor knows that any statement, any joke made by the fool is not malicious. It does not have a political, a social, psychological, or sexual agenda. It's playfulness and harmlessness. And this is a powerful weapon that allows the fool to survive. The fool carries secrets within inside himself or herself that they do not reveal to the world, because if they reveal them to the world, the fool then becomes a tragic clown. I'll give an example of that. We live in an age of social media, reality TV shows, and so on, Jerry Springer, these kinds of things, where people take their subconscious fool archetype and they put it on stage to be mocked in front of the world. That takes away their power. This is why the control grid always wants us to reveal our inner desires, our inner fool, because it dehumanizes us and makes us easier to destroy. If we maintain and retain these aspects inside our psyche, it gives us tremendous power. It guides us through life, and it allows us to laugh at situations that are painful and transcend them. Because we know that some point inside us is a pure child that wasn't corrupted. In this card, there's a dog nipping at his feet. In the Tarot de Marseille and some other traditional, more older tarots, the dog is often shown stealing his belongings out of his pocket. This is to show you that life, you will encounter individuals and people who will seemingly be your friend, but they're actually harvesting your energy in one way or another. Or they may be your friend who sincerely care about you, and they will do things to hurt you now and again. That not necessarily was malicious. It's also about maturity. See, the fool has the keys of the consciousness in terms of the growth towards absolute and real maturity, the completeness of life. You know, the individuation, that's so important. And all the other cards of the major arcana are kept inside the Fool. Think of him or her like a Russian doll with all the other archetypes, aspects, and all the other attributes of the other cards contained within him. So therefore, the Fool is quite possibly the most powerful card in the deck. This is why it doesn't have a number. It begins at 0. It's often not numbered. So that's the first card. The Fool is you on your journey. And this will be the end of your journey. And this is where you will find individuation, as Carl Jung called it. You will step off that cliff into the abyss. And this represents not only the actual physical birth of a child, but also your waking up process. Because remember that day you woke up or you watched a video or read an article that says, oh my God, the world is not what it's meant to be. Well, that was the day you became the Fool. How you guide on from this point forward is what's important. The inner fool, the inner clown, would be you running down the street screaming about, the moon landings didn't happen and all your friends laughed at you. But that was a learning process too. Even if you believe that, if you believe about the moon landings. However, then you learn wisdom that you must retain those things inside you. This is why it's so important to keep some secrets close inside us, because they're far more powerful and the control grid wants you to bring them to the surface. So the Fool is you at your most pure, but you at your most powerful at the same time. The Fool is the only member of the court who can mock the king and live to tell.